Okay, so I saw this today. It said, how did we go from this to a Muslim congresswoman calling our president a motherfucker? And it's 9/11 buildings exploding. Well, I'll tell you how. Because we destroy our kids' brains with propaganda so that they know nothing and they can't trust their instincts or make logical arguments. I'll stay completely away. By the way, there is a fucking NASA thing on this thing. Let's just go through the obvious lies. Okay. 1,000 questions and answers by Discovery. Let's start with the solar system. So, okay, this is going to piss off all the flat earthers, but I can't prove that the earth is a sphere. This is my thing. I'm not proving the earth is flat because it very well might not be flat. I'm trying to prove that it's a sphere. That's my goal. I think it is a sphere. It's a spinning sphere. But I'm having a hard time. I'm structuring experiments because a lot of this has to do with the fact that I'm about to become a teacher because I'm homeschooling my kids. So one reason why I'm getting down to fundamental principles is because when I'm reading this propaganda, I'm thinking like, how do I teach my sons how to come up with actual answers in life? You know, because they're not going to public school. They're not going to Jesuit school. They're not going to Jew school. Oh, and we can talk about Hitler in a little bit too. I learned some interesting things about that guy. All right, so we got Neil Armstrong, the first dog in space, the first person to walk on the moon. Well, we all know that's a lie. Forget about the planets. How come they never show the weird shape on the top of Jupiter or Saturn or whatever? We'll get into that. I'm just going to show you, I'm a history guy. Okay, the Big Bang. The Big Bang is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If you believe in the Big Bang, by the way, robot guy, I am Stephen Hawking. That guy was a retard. I don't even think he was alive for the last 40 fucking years. It was just somebody controlling his shit. Let's get to the stuff that is very easy to... Which stars live the longest? How hot is a star? This is almost like intellectual pornography because it jacks up your fantasies and your, I was so into astronomy as a kid. You know, it's like, which stars live the longest? The biggest stars have lots of nuclear fuel but live fast and die young. The smallest stars have little nuclear fuel but live slow and long. I wonder who wrote that? A short guy? A short guy? What happens when stars die? How old are the stars? Stars are, you get into like big bright stars live for only 10 million years, medium-sized stars for like our sun for 10 billion years, and it like blows your mind. Very little of it is provable, but I'll show you exactly what is not at all real. Okay, how many countries are there? We'll get into this. How many people live in the world? Who are the oldest people? More than 120 people live in Tanzania, Africa. Which country has the most people? China. What is a continent? A country. A country is an area of land under the rule of a single government. Its borders have to be agreed with neighboring countries. So is America not a country because they're trying to not have borders? What is a state? A country is often divided into smaller regions known as states, provinces, counties, or departments. That doesn't answer the question. What is an empire? An empire is a country that rules over many other countries and nations. Does that include banks and corporations? Don't ask those questions, little buddy. No, it's only countries, even though a bank can bail out a country. So that means countries are owned by banks, and the Federal Reserve doesn't have to show any allegiance at all to the federal government. In fact, it's its own entity and more powerful than the federal government. The international monetary system, the international banking system, the City of London, 1 square mile run by the Rothschilds, runs countries. That isn't described here at all. What's a dependent nation? A dependent nation is ruled by another country. There are around 38 dependent nations, including many tiny islands in the Caribbean Sea and in the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. Well, are all nations dependent nations because we're all run by banks? and imaginary money that dates back to the Sumerians and the Babylonians? Don't ask those questions. What is a parliament? A parliament is a meeting place where new laws are discussed and approved. By who? Uh, what is a democracy? In a democracy, people vote for a political party to make the decisions. Okay. A head of state. The most important person in a country is the head of state. Really? That's the most important person in the country? What about my mother? What about mommy? No, not mommy. It's the head of the state. What's a state again? A state is a country is often divided into smaller regions known as states. But wait a minute, the most important person in a country is the head of state. So which state? You're asking too many questions, little buddy. A state has multiple meanings because that's what wizards do to confuse everybody. What is the law? Laws are a system of rules that govern everything from how we elect our leaders to how we should behave towards each other. So why didn't Hillary Clinton go to jail? She broke the law. Everyone found out she broke the law. Why didn't she go to jail? Because there's different rules for different people based on Jews. A national anthem. National anthems are played or sung to show respect to a certain country. They're often played at important occasions. A currency. Here we go. This is when we get fun. A currency is a money system such as the Japanese yen or the US dollar. What else is a currency? What about health, respect, time? Oh, those don't matter, buddy. It's a currency is a money system such as the Japanese yen or the US dollar. Well, which were the countries that had their own currency outside of the world banks? Well, buddy, that would be Afghanistan, Iran, North Korea, Syria, Cuba, and Venezuela. Who are the countries we continuously want to go to war with? Well, that would be Afghanistan, Syria, Iran, North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela. But it's for different reasons, though. It's because they're mean to their people. Aren't people mean to people in Sierra Leone? I hear they sell human flesh. Easy. I hear there's open slave trades in Libya now ever since Omar Gaddafi was bayoneted in his asshole by Hillary Clinton. Easy. Which is the world's richest country? Some economists say that Qatar in the Middle East is the richest country because it exports huge amount of oil and gas. Who is the some who say that? Well, buddy, that would be the Jews living in the city of London, because the richest country in the world isn't a country at all. It's the people who created and print money itself. Which is the highest city? All right. Which is the biggest country in the world? The Russian Federation, measuring more than 6.6 million square miles. Its clocks are set to 9 different time zones. Whoa. But isn't the biggest country the one that the World Bank runs because it's all the countries outside of the ones that we keep trying to go to war with? Which country has 3 capitals? Oh, that would be South Africa. Cape Town is the legislative capital. Pretoria is the executive capital. And Bloemfontein is the judicial capital. Why are they taking all the farmland from the white farmers? Oh, easy, buddy. Which is the world's oldest royal family. The Japanese royal family has produced a long line of 125 reigning emperors over thousands of years. But can't some of these people that actually run the world date back to the Babylonians? They've survived the Assyrian Empire. What about those guys? That's way longer, right? We don't talk about those guys. Which is the world's oldest parliament? Who cares? Which city is a megacity? Tokyo is an example of a megacity encompassing 26 other cities and 5 towns. Which city is named after a goddess? Anti-Christian propaganda? Why would a kid ask that? They wouldn't. Athens, the capital of Greece, shares its name with an ancient goddess named after Athena. Her beautiful temple, the Parthenon, still towers over the modern city. Okay. Which country fits inside a city? The world's smallest nation is an area within the city of Rome in Italy. It's called the Vatican City. It's the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church. Why is the Roman Catholic Church its own nation within a nation? Do they have walls like we're not allowed to have? Do they have their own currency? Why is that? Why don't they have to follow the same rules as the country that it's around? No more of that, buddy. Are there more Are there more and more people? Every minute, about 260 babies are born around the world. Imagine how they would cry if they were all put together. By the year 2050, there will probably be 9.3 billion people in the world. And there's a screaming picture of a baby. That sets the seeds for something called eugenics, little buddy. Is there enough room for everybody? Just about. But sometime in the future, people may have to live in towns under the ocean or even other planets where they would need a special supply of air to stay alive. Wow, that's pretty interesting. That's really interesting stuff. Have humans changed our planet? Over the ages, humans have changed the face of the world we live in. They have chopped down forests and dammed rivers. They have built big cities and roads. So it's bad that we build cities and roads? Why are some lands richer than others? Some lands have good soil where crops can grow. Some have oil, which is worth a lot of money. But other countries have poor soil, little rain, and no minerals. So why is the Vatican so rich? It doesn't have any soil or any minerals or any oil. They're rich based on secrets, little buddy. Secrets. They keep secrets. They sit on a pile of secrets just like a dragon. Do all people have a country they can call their own? No. The ancient homelands of some people are divided up between other countries. The lands of the Kurdish people are split between several nations. Wow. What problems do cities cause? Too much traffic in cities often blocks up the roads and fills the air with fumes. In sub-cities, there isn't enough work for everyone, and some people live in poor conditions. So, is Discovery.com in one of these cities? Yes, it is, little buddy, because your dad, Owen, has had meetings at this very office in a city where they commute to the office. That's some pretty valuable information. Who invented democracy? Who gets to become king or queen? Normally, you have to be a prince or princess born into a royal family. In the past, kings and queens were Jews. How do you recognize kings and queens? For ceremonies, kings and queens wear traditional robes and some wear crowns and carry symbols of royal power such as golden scepters. And they print money. Golden scepters. Sounds like you just described a fucking wizard. Are you guys having fun? You guys having a good time? Love the stream? Love the stream? Burn it in the fire? Plenty of fuel for the fire? Oh, every page is going to be burned. Why do we build skyscrapers? In busy cities where land is scarce, people have to use the space above the ground building tall skyscrapers. So, Daddy, why do we live on like 10 acres? Like, why don't more people just live in the country? Where are the biggest cities in the world? The Japs, not even true, by the way. The world is the biggest general election. More than 670 million people are eligible to vote in general elections in India. So why don't they elect a system where people aren't considered untouchable? Are the untouchables allowed to vote? No, the Brahmins, the Kshatriyans, the untouchables can't vote because they're one reincarnation away from being a cow. Well, I just ate a cow. Does that mean I ate a person? It is if you're one of these brown retards. Where's the world's longest road? It begins in Alaska and stretches right down to Central America. It's called the Pan American Highway and covers 30,000 miles. But isn't building roads bad for the earth? It just said that in the last page. I don't understand this logical inconsistency you're creating in my mind. Is it to make me a cattle? Was the wheel invented in Mesopotamia, present-day Iraq, more than 6,000 years ago? So when the white people came to America, the Native Americans must have had a wheel, right? No, actually, they didn't have wheels yet.